and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you out to the shed of many names where we're going to have fun today. Now, this is going to be a two-part video. I will play the first part today, and the second recipe will be tomorrow. It's going to be two different recipes using the same dough. Now, if you watched my video last week about making the turkey rolls, yeah, we're going to make a spin on cinnamon rolls using the same dough because the dough is extremely versatile and can be used for many things. And if you didn't get to watch the turkey roll video, I warn you, they're addictive, y'all. I will link that video at the very end of the this video. Now, what we're going to do is start the dough. Now, I will repeat the dough recipe for both days. That way, if you don't get to watch one video, you'll be watching the other one. And you'll still know how to make this amazing dough that I have been using for I don't know how long. This is the only cinnamon dough that I use to make my cinnamon rolls. It's that good. So, let's apron up and have some fun. I'm so happy to finally have an apron. I've been wanting a good apron. Once I can get another sewing machine one day, then I will get to start making my own aprons. So I'm going to pause it here just a minute to cinch up this apron, and we're going to get busy, y'all. Okay, got my apron on. Now, I will tell you, this cinnamon dough or cinnamon roll dough is, you can't fail making it. The only time you can fail is if your yeast is no good. And that's the only time. Other than that, this dough is absolutely fail-proof. Alright, I've got a cup of warm water. Not hot, but warm. And I'm going to grab my bag of sugar because I want a tablespoon of sugar in it. And that is only to feed the yeast. And you want to make sure that your sugar gets good and dissolved, because that's what feeds your yeast and makes it happy. And I want y'all to watch this yeast. If you watched my turkey roll, you'll see how fast and dangerous this yeast is. You have to keep an eye on it. And you're going to want 2 tablespoons of yeast. And you want to gently incorporate it into the water and the sugar. You don't want to do it too wild, because you don't want to beat your yeast up much. I'm going to set that aside. And it won't take long for it to start proofing. This stuff is fast. Now, while your yeast is proofing, you're going to want a big bowl. And in the bowl, I'm going to crack 2 eggs. And always remember, save your eggshells. Set that over there in my eggshell bowl. always got to be that one little piece. Never fails. Okay, now I'm going to whisk the eggs up real well. And in this cup, I have 2 cups of fairly warm milk and 1 cup of melted butter. And you want to make sure that it's mixed up very well. And I want to grab my salt. I'm going to add a teaspoon of Himalayan pink salt. And I always add it to the milk, egg, and butter, because if you add it to your yeast, it can kill your yeast. And as you can see, that yeast is very much alive. It is proofing up very nicely, and as soon as it gets to the top of my cup, I will bring you back. Not even 5 minutes, and it has proofed. And you want to make sure that you get it all out. Let me get my spatula, because I don't want to waste any of this amazing yeast. And it is amazing. Now you're going to want to stir just a little bit, not much, but you want to get it all incorporated in there. Alright, next you will need 8 cups of all-purpose flour. None of the cheater flour, as I call it. And you're just going to keep adding your flour. I absolutely love this dough. It is so versatile. Now I'm going to add a little more flour into my measuring cup, so while I'm kneading, I can access it easily. And there's a good chance I'm not going to use all that flour, but it's always better to have more than not enough. Set that aside. And it being the holidays, we all get into the let's bake mood. Okay. We're going to dip into our flour. Make sure your shirt sleeves are up. And make sure you have enough flour down. And here's where the fun begins. And we're going to knead our dough for about 8-10 minutes or until it comes completely together. And it's a soft, gooey dough at first. Then it takes its shape. It's a good soft dough. Don't worry about the little pieces of dough. You will end up working it into your dough ball. And if they become obstinate, just pick them up and put them in the dough. You don't want to use a whole lot of flour, just enough to keep it from sticking to your work area. But look how beautiful and soft this dough is. To me, it's always so peaceful creating dough. And bringing it to life. And making you and your family happy with wonderful treats this time of year. It's the time of year for family, friends, and loved ones. And if you do right, you end up using all the flour on your work surface, so you don't have a whole lot of cleanup. And you can see how it's starting to come together. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. And it's such a soft, wonderful dough. And it's a good way to keep your arms built up. I can tell that it's done. Put my flour aside because I'm going to need it again here in a bit. I'm going to get my bowl. I'll bring you right back. Okay, I have found this wonderful ghee cooking spray. No soybeans or anything. No canola in it. And I want to spray. I have to use aluminum foil because I use a plastic bowl, and plastic wrap is not going to stick to this. And I'm going to, now you can use melted butter too. It's the same thing. Look at that, just beautiful. Put it in, turn it over. And then if you wanted to, you could use a towel over it. And you're going to set it aside and let it rise until it's double in size, which won't take too long, about an hour or so. And I usually just let it mound up and let it get a really good rise. And I will bring you back as soon as it is done. See you here in a little bit. Okay, the dough is almost done rising, so I am going to prep the ingredients for the first batch of cinnamon rolls. And I'm looking forward to these. It's been a while since I've made these, and it's going to be s'mores cinnamon rolls. Oh yes, s'mores. Now, I want it to have a little more in-depth flavor, so a lot of times I will use regular cane sugar with cinnamon. This time, because of both of the cinnamon rolls I'm going to be making, yeah, I want to add just a little more oomph to the flavor, so I'm going to be using light brown sugar, and that way it has just a little bit of a molasses taste to it as well. And I'm not going to be using that much, y'all, but anything left over, I can put in a jar, put it on the shelf, and you know what? Have it for later use. And this is just Domino's light brown sugar. And then, of course, lots of cinnamon. Oh, it smells so good. And you want to use a whisk so you can get it all mixed up really good. Yes, as you can tell, I make extremely evil cinnamon rolls. Yes, I do. Oops. And this is why you make sure that your workspace is always clean. to mix it either in a Ziploc baggie or a clear bowl. That way you can see where it hasn't been mixed together yet. Add just a little bit, yep, just a little bit more cinnamon. Now, do it to your taste, how strong or how light you like it. After you mix it for a while, take a little pinch and test it. See if it's got enough cinnamon taste. Make sure you've mixed it well. See if it's got enough cinnamon taste to you. And if it doesn't, you can add a little bit more. Or if it's got a little too much cinnamon taste, you can always add a little more brown sugar. You can mix it down. Perfect. Because with the s'mores, I don't want it overpowered with cinnamon. And the second one, I want a little more cinnamon in it. But I'll be mixing that in with the filling, which you'll have to wait and find out on the second video which one it is. Now, of course, it's s'mores. Use whatever chocolate chips you like. You can use dark chocolate. I wouldn't use too many different flavored chocolates because it might mess it up some. I'm using just plain old semi-sweet chocolate chips. Make sure that it's real chocolate chips, nothing fake. And of course, it being s'mores, it wouldn't be s'mores unless there were some marshmallows, y'all. And you want to, I usually tend to use the mini marshmallows. You can't find them. They don't exist apparently anymore. So I just got the small ones. The great big marshmallows are just a little too big and it'll mess your inside of your cinnamon rolls up. Now of course it's s'mores. You want just a little bit of graham cracker in there. And apparently there's been bum rush on graham crackers. 3 stores couldn't find big graham crackers. So I had to get what I could. Honey graham bear cookies. They are graham crackers, just with a little honey, so it might change it just a little bit, but hey, use what you got. Now, you don't want to leave them in whole packages. Now, if you're a little squeamish, and it's going to hurt your feelings, me kind of murdering these little bear cookies, you might want to look away for a while. I couldn't help myself, I had to. Now I have them in a sturdy freezer Ziploc bag. Now you don't want it powdered. You want little chunks, nothing big. So we're going to beat them down a little bit. You want them in smaller pieces. That way you get a little bite here, a little bite there. it is hot in the shed today. Uh-oh. You want to make sure you get them all broke up real good. Like I said, you don't want them powdered. You want just little pieces. Nothing big. Little pieces for here and there. You want them to kind of look small, little bites here and there. And of course, anything you don't use, and of course there's always going to be a little bit of fine powder. Of course, anything you don't use can always be put back for the next batch. You can put them in a storage tub in the Ziploc baggie, or you can put them in your freezer, either or. Alright, the dough's almost done, so I'm going to pause it here for a bit and wait for it to be finished. See you back here in a little bit. Okay, got the apron back on. The dough is done rising. Well, has rose the amount I want it to. Now you want to sprinkle your work area very well, because you do not want your dough sticking. Now, of course, I'm going to be cutting my dough in half and making 2 recipes. It's probably not going to fit this whole board work surface, but if you just make all the dough into one of the recipes, you're going to need the whole work surface. Grab the dough. Beautiful, beautiful dough. And I'm going to go on and cut it in half. Only because I'm doing 2 recipes. Only reason why I'm cutting it in half. And I'm going to cover it back up until I'm ready to work with it. Now's when the fun begins. Oh, it's so soft. Sprinkle your dough with flour. Rub your rolling pin. And you want to get your dough absolutely as thin as you possibly can. And it's going to bounce back just a little bit. But you know what? That's perfectly fine. You just keep on working it. You want to try to get it as close to a rectangle shape as possible, as it'll make it easier on you when you go to roll it. And that should be good right there. Now comes the fun part. Butter, y'all. Butter. Real butter. Lightly brush it. You don't want to drown it. The butter is the glue that the cinnamon sugar will stick to. I absolutely love making cinnamon rolls of all kinds. Sweet, savory, you name it. The sky is the limit. Only thing that stops you is your imagination. Now comes the cinnamon brown sugar. Oh my gracious, it smells good. We'll make sure you get a good covering of it. And then definitely, with the humidity around here, get your lid put back on. Now, for the chocolate chips. You can use milk chocolate, semi-sweet, dark. It's all up to you. And any escape off the dough, pick them right back up and put them right back on. I'm trying to escape everywhere. You want to make sure you get them spread pretty good. Oh, they smell good. And I'm done semi-sweet because, well, as you can tell, there's already plenty of sweet that's going to be on here. That's one 12-ounce bag. And of course, I'll have the recipe of all the ingredients that I use in the description box below. And since they're smaller than the marshmallows, I do the graham crackers next. I'm going to try to get them spread out all over. Any bigger ones, you just break them up. And you want to leave a little bit of room from the edge. That way you can roll them up without any problem. And if you want to leave them in smaller, like round up, you can do that too. Alright, that's enough of that. One for me. Last but not least, marshmallows. Make sure you get them fairly dispersed as evenly as possible. This is why I like using the mini marshmallows. Excuse me. Ooh, it's hot in here. And now, the fun begins. As soon as I make sure I got enough. First roll, you just fold it over. And you keep trying to roll it. You want to try to keep it as tight as possible, but you don't want to make any holes in your dough if you can help it. I mean, it's not going to be a tragedy or anything, but it keeps each layer from leaking into the one behind it. Uh-oh, escapee. And if you have a hole, it's not the end of the world. It happens to everybody. Okay, so chocolate chips are notorious for causing poke holes. Alright, let me get my pan. Alright, bring you right back. Okay, here's my spray ghee. I use it for the sides. And a little in the center because I'll put butter. You want them to pop out of your pan. And plus a little extra butter on the bottom gets soaked into them as well. And well, we all know a little butter makes everything better. Okay. Now it's when to cut them. Anything falls out, you're going to smush it right back in. If you don't want to make them this big, if you don't want to cut them this big, you can always cut them smaller or thinner. I'm going to go get my sugar knife. This is why you see how soggy that, no, not soggy, but that's why you try to make sure that you keep your roll rolled tightly. That way you don't have to worry about escapees like that. Alright, be right back. Okay, I got a bigger knife this time. Yep, cuts a whole lot better. That's why you want to make sure each time you roll it that the dough stays fairly taut. You won't have the sag on the side. Now, does it make it in something wrong with those rolls? Not a bit. And even though these are filled like this, they will bake for the same amount of time as a regular cinnamon roll. Now you're going to want to bake them in about the middle shelf of your oven. You don't want it too low, but you don't want it too high. You want to keep an eye that your bottom of your rolls do not burn. And it looks like I'm going to be squeezing these in right there at the end. everything's going to be melted and, oh my gracious, good. Perfect amount of rolls per pan. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cover these up. Hopefully I have enough aluminum foil. I'm going to cover them best I can. And we're going to let them rise. Give me just a minute. Okay, sorry about that, y'all. Had a knock on the shed. My other half has gotten back home. Alright, you're going to let these rise for at least 30 minutes. I usually just let them rise for 30 minutes because they're going to rise more in the oven. Now, at the 15-minute mark of rising for 30 minutes, go turn your oven on to 350 degrees and let it preheat. And then once the 30 minutes is over, you're going to take the aluminum foil, everything off of it, put it in your oven, middle ways in your oven, and bake them for at least 25 minutes, 20 to 25 minutes, depends on your oven. And once they start getting golden brown on the top, that's when you'll take them out and let them cool for just a little bit. And while they're baking, it's when we're going to make the beautiful icing for them. And I'm going to do a cream cheese icing for them. Alright, I will bring y'all back here in just a little bit. Okay, while the cinnamon rolls are in the oven baking, I'm going to make a basic cream cheese icing. So it's going to be a bit looser than what a frosting is, because you want it to kind of melt a little bit into the cinnamon roll on the top, and then some stay on the top. So let's get started on this one. Alright, in my bowl I have 1 block of room temp cream cheese and a half a stick of butter. And you're going to want to blend this together very well, because you want it all to be incorporated. Now, don't use any fake vanilla, y'all. Use the real thing. And this is homemade for me. I'm going to put about a tablespoon, give or take, because I like a good vanilla flavor in my icing. And it's raining again, y'all. Sorry about the tapping on the roof. Okay, that is incorporated real well. Now, I don't measure, y'all. You should know this. I measure once in a blue moon. I'm going to want about 2 to 3 cups of powdered sugar. And it's powdered sugar, not regular cane sugar. Now, if you don't have powdered sugar in your house, an old trick, and I've had to use it many times myself, just take cane sugar, real cane sugar, put it in a blender or a food processor, and with the chopping blades, and yeah, you just powder the sugar. That's why it's called powdered sugar. And you just whirl it around until it gets extra fine. Now, you can use whole milk, or I'm using half and half. That's a couple or so tablespoons. And this might seem a lot of icing for one pan. Yes, this is going to be for 2 pans of the cinnamon rolls. Come on, get out there. And you want to stir it until all your lumps and your powdered sugar has been incorporated. I've still got more stirring to do, y'all. And of course, if you wanted to, you have a stand mixer, you can use that. You can use a hand mixer. I just kind of like to bear hug it and get it all incorporated. Like I said, I'm not going to be putting a whole lot on top of the cinnamon rolls because, yeah, they're sweet enough as it is. But I like icing on my cinnamon rolls. And this is how you know you have icing. If that was frosting, no, you wouldn't be able to do that. Frosting is really thick. Oh, that's so good. So good. I only want just a little. You have to taste it. Make sure everything is where you want it. Alright, I'm going to set that aside. I don't even know what I've done with my coffee. I hid my coffee from me. Alright, I'm going to put powdered sugar up. Go put the half and half back in the fridge. And I'm going to check on the cinnamon rolls. And I will bring you back when they are done and ready to have a little icing put on them. See you back here after a while. Okay, the first batch is out. And I totally forgot to get me a plate, but that's okay. Now, a hint on the marshmallows. As they melt, They'll make your edges a little stiffer around your cinnamon rolls, around your s'more cinnamon rolls, but nothing's wrong with them, y'all. Oh, let me tell you, that smelled so good baking. Oh God, it sounds like I'm at home. Here we go. I think this might work better. Yep, a spoon is going to work a whole lot better. You're just going to get that top really good. Old-fashioned cinnamon rolls. Oh, big one there. And let me tell you, they smell so good. Finally found my missing coffee. I hid it from myself. It's just so hot in here. That's why I'm coughing. Plus I need some coffee. And the rest goes for the other cinnamon rolls. But is that not beautiful? Homemade s'mores cinnamon rolls. I absolutely love them, but I'm going to let them cool for a little while. And plus, I really want to have some dinner before I have dessert. But simple, easy, Yes, time consuming, but it is so worth it in the end for homemade. Wonderful. And of course, all the s'more stuff's optional. It's what you want to put into your cinnamon rolls. But they are so delicious, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and it encourages you to also make your own homemade cinnamon rolls. If you wanted to, you don't have to add the s'more ingredients. Just butter up your rolled out cinnamon roll dough. Sprinkle the brown sugar and cinnamon on it. Roll it up, cut it up, and bake them like that. It doesn't have to be kind of fancy like these. But I like to do different things. And, well, once in a while, you gotta be the box and do different things every once in a while. Change things up so you don't get in a pattern and become bored. Food is a wonderful experience, and most people don't take time to taste it or sit down long enough to enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Go out there and make you some cinnamon rolls, y'all. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and may you each be blessed. I'll see you soon. Okay, the first batch is out, and I totally forgot to get me a plate, but that's okay. Now, a hint on the marshmallows. As they melt, they'll make your edges a little stiffer around your cinnamon rolls, around your s'more cinnamon rolls, but nothing's wrong with them, y'all. Oh, let me tell you, that smelled so good baking. Oh God, it sounds like I'm at home. Here we go. I think this might work better. Yep, a spoon is going to work a whole lot better. You're just going to get that top really good. Old-fashioned cinnamon rolls. Oh, big one there. me tell you, they smell so good. Finally found my missing coffee. I hid it from myself. It's just so hot in here. That's why I'm coughing. Plus I need some coffee. And the rest goes for the other cinnamon rolls. But is that not beautiful? Homemade s'mores cinnamon rolls. I absolutely love them, but I'm going to let them cool for a little while. And plus, I really want to have some dinner before I have dessert. But simple, easy, yes, time consuming, but it is so worth it in the end for homemade. Wonderful. And of course, all the s'more stuff's optional. It's what you want to put into your cinnamon rolls. But they are so delicious, y'all. I hope you've enjoyed this video and it encourages you to also make your own homemade cinnamon rolls. If you wanted to, you don't have to add the s'more ingredients. Just butter up your rolled out cinnamon roll dough. Sprinkle the brown sugar and cinnamon on it. Roll it up, cut it up, and bake them like that. It doesn't have to be kind of fancy like these. But I like to do different things. And, well, once in a while, you gotta be the box and do different things every once in a while. Change things up, so you don't get in a pattern and become bored. Food is a wonderful experience, and most people don't take time to taste it or sit down long enough to enjoy it. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Go out there and make you some cinnamon rolls, y'all. I look forward to seeing you in my next video, and may you each be blessed. I'll see you soon.